It is the news no one wanted to hear, but it's also the news that, frankly, is consistent with everything we heard all along. From day one, I was saying that it was a catastrophic flight failure for a variety of reasons, and here we are. It's going to be very interesting, and I think it's important that they were able to locate the vessel, because now we can piece the shrapnel together like a puzzle and figure out exactly where did this pressure vessel fail, why did it fail. Perhaps there was a microfracture caused by previous dives that this made to the Titanic. We just won't know. But I recall when the U.S. Space Shuttle Challenger exploded, the NASA space program was shut down until questions were answered. And I'm thinking that the wisest thing to do now is to at least temporarily pause all future trips to the Titanic, especially tourist trips, until we have answers. How and why did this vessel fail?
Those questions will need to be asked and answered, as you've mentioned. You've had personal experience of an expedition just like this, being in a submersible, exploring the Titanic. Could you give our viewers a sense of what it involves, being in such a small space, 4,000 meters beneath the surface?
Yes, I received the invitation to go down in September of 2000. I didn't want to do it at first because I have a fear of water. But being the science editor at ABC News, I felt obligated to do it. And as a scientist, I was also interested in seeing the Titanic and reporting to the public about it. I thought it was a great opportunity to educate people on the Titanic. We took off from Halifax, Nova Scotia. The dive went very well, 2.5 hours to get down there. You are in cramp most of the time, well, all the time. I was laying on my stomach, looking out in about an 8-inch porthole. You don't see a whole lot, but that's how cramped it is. It's a 3-man sub, so it was me, a diving buddy, and the pilot in between. This is a Russian sub that was meant originally for scientific research, so it's very well built. It's been down there many, many times. When we collided with the propeller, obviously that was a terrifying experience. Pieces of the Titanic fell on us, and I knew immediately we were in crisis. Fortunately, our pilot, and this is what's very important, Julie and Steve, not only was this vessel well built and built for serious purpose, our pilot, Victor, he was a former Russian MiG pilot, so it was a man used to dealing with life and death situations, keeping his cool under pressure, and he managed after a half hour or so to get us out of disentangle us from the blades of the propeller. And I wouldn't be here talking with you this evening if it weren't for Victor's skills. That was very, very important. In contrast to that, Titan was designed for tourism. And there are legitimate questions to be asked as to whether this was genuinely seaworthy. Should it have been allowed to go down there? It made a couple of successful trips, so you might think, well, yes, but it has to make more than just 2 trips. The vessel I was on had made scores of trips. It's still in operation. These are 2 very famous submersibles the Russians have. I was in one of them.